Hi everyone, welcome to the beginning of 2024. I hope this video answers lots of questions and gets you a little bit excited about what your children are going to be experiencing throughout this year. Here is our verse for the year that carries across the entire college. Above all, love each other deeply. In all that we are doing as staff of Calvary Christian College, that is going to be our aim in all that we do. So my name is Mr. Evan Barnes, and I have the absolute privilege of being 1/3 of this fantastic teaching team. And I teach 3A. Mrs. Katrina Muller teaches 3B, and Mrs. Amy Delosa teaches 3C. Even though we do have our separate classes, we will be in contact with all of your children, regardless if they're directly in our class or not. We are often collaborative in stage 3, moving around classes, moving around teachers based off any sort of expertise or passion areas. So all your kids are going to get to know the 3 of us extremely well. Should you need anything about your child, if you want to know anything or have any questions, please email your your child's classroom teacher. Our email addresses are up there. It's absolutely the best way to come into contact with any of us. So please feel free to do that should you need to. So, the Calvary Distinctive. Why Calvary? Mastery of curriculum content matters. Mastery of skills development matters more. What matters most is formation of character and faith. Here's a little running example of what has been done previously in stage 3. So as part of the curriculum, we need to write poetry. Children need to learn how to do that. So that's part of the curriculum content. In all of that, part of the skills development in that is resiliently accepting feedback and implementing that. That's a skill that our children need to learn to make sure that they can do their best in all they can do. So we can see that we're slowly building together. And one of the things that we were writing about in poetry was different aspects of poverty. And in particular, we had a look at the organization Compassion and how you can sponsor a child through compassion. So students were writing poetry last year. Students were resiliently accepting feedback. Students were also collaborating, writing this poetry, and the poetry was integrating aspects of their faith and character. And through these discussions there, I had students in my class who went off and spoke to their parents about compassion and ended up sponsoring a child. So we can see how these 3 things are connected, and we can see the order of these things. This is our unit overview for this term, and I've highlighted here in different colors. So in this yellow chunk, we wish for our students to understand how their identity can be shaped by God, their families, their peers, and technology. We do this through exploring software and hardware, concepts of identity and collaboration. So the green part there, despite the fact it's in the middle of that chunk, is the curriculum content. Right? That's what we're looking at. That is the curriculum content. The concepts of identity and collaboration, they are the skills. Collaboration is a skill, an absolutely necessary skill. Understanding your identity is part of that skill as well. And we're having a look at how, in the first yellow chunk, how our students can recognize faith and character and how they can grow within those areas. So that's going to be our big focus for this term. Now, I do apologize because there's no way I could fit this all on the screen and let you see this particularly well, but this is our timetable. And when I say our timetable, I do mean all of stage 3. All of stage 3 has exactly the same timetable, except those little bits highlighted in yellow. So those bits highlighted in yellow are specialist teachers. So our classes rotate between the specialist teachers. So we have this term, the students are going to the woodshop. Students are doing Japanese, students are doing music, as well as 2 PE lessons. Our PE lessons happen on a Wednesday and a Thursday. And because we have this timetable that's all the same, it allows for a lot of collaboration between the staff and students as well, and not just students within their own class, but students across the whole state, which is something that we're aiming to absolutely do in Calvary. All right, big question that always happens is home learning. So home learning is going to start in week 3, and it'll go out for and come back a week later. And this will include Mathmentals, which is a textbook, segmenting, which is a part of a Soundwaves program. I'll get into a little bit of that later. That's a evidence-based, phonics-based teaching spelling program, a reading activity, and a URI activity. URI, if you are new to Calvary, is talking about unit of inquiry, which is and our unit of inquiry focus was the technology one, and technology and identity one, which we'll unpack a little bit more of that within homework. Now, students are expected, if their homework is not returned, to attend catch-up during lunch to complete their homework. This is in line with all of the practices that happen in middle senior school. So in stage 3, we're aiming to not only coach your students through this year and perhaps next if they're in year 5, but also prepare them for high school. So that is our aim, and that is why we're doing this. Okay, so just so you and your child are aware. Uniform. Nice and easy breakup of the uniform. Monday and Tuesday is our formal uniform. Wednesday and Thursday is sport uniform. They are the days we have PE. And Friday, students wear their house uniform. As teachers, we really appreciate the partnership between us and you to make sure your child is coming to school in the correct uniform. Please read the parent manuals. If you have any specific questions, you can also ask your classroom teacher. We ask that you keep a particular check on things like shoes, earrings, hair ties, and hats. Those smaller things can sometimes be missed along the way. If your child is wearing a piece of incorrect uniform, we'll let them know. We'll also email you so you are aware of that one as well. The events coming up. This is a little bit of fun stuff now. So we have Swimming Carnival coming up. We've got Year 5 camp in Coolum. A note should have been emailed home for those of you who are in grade 5. We will also be doing Year 5. We'll be doing NAPLAN in March. Those are the dates that we're planning on it. On the 19th of March, there is a Zoom session that lets all the Year 6 students and Year 6 parents know a little bit more about Canberra. And the Canberra camp, an enormous highlight for stage 3 is happening very, very, very early in term 2. So please put these dates in your diary. Information will come out about all of these events in due course. These are the programs that we're using. So the first one we're using is Maths Pathways. It's a differentiated program which allows us to meet students where they are, where if that's needing some support or if that's needing some extra extension. So it's often an online-based program and also allows for small group sessions with the teacher, so we can focus our help onto those small groups to teach efficiently and effectively. We're also using Soundwaves, which is a phonics-based approach to support spelling. This is used across most of the school. I believe Prep is doing another program. So we're looking at this as a whole school approach. So very likely your children are very familiar with this excellent spelling program. And finally, Literacy Pro is an online approach that allocates reading material based off interests and reading levels. So they do a bit of a diagnostic test. They'll answer some questions about the books that they like to read, and they will be suggested books to read. And then once they've completed them, they'll have access to a quiz, which will then check their comprehension levels. So really important. That's one we will use in school. And questions. So if you firstly have any questions, and you can either bring them to the parent information where you'll come and meet me and the other 2 lovely stage 3 teachers, or you can email your classroom teacher directly. So thank you for everything, and hopefully I will see you on the parent information. Goodbye.